5. Initiate.
Excellent!
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Bogus.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
My name's Norman Bates.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. I'm in, Mom.
Merry Christmas, movie house! We came, we saw, we kicked his ass.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
Oh, well. Let me go in and say hi.
Hail to the king, baby.
Well, hello there, all my beautiful lovers out there in internet world. It is Sunday, February 14th, 2021, and it's Valentine's Day, so I hope you're feeling sexy. I hope you're feeling romantic. For the next 3 hours, I'm going to be spinning your requests. If you want to call in and tell us why you love who you love, why you hate who you hate, we're here to appease you. Make sure you hit that phone number, 1-917-555-LOVE, and we will be here to make sure that your Valentine's Day is one to remember.
That was beautiful.
None of that was right, though, was it?
No. Happy Singles Awareness Day to everybody outside in the internet.
Right. Just making sure. Well, I'm Maxwell Haddad. This is Elizabeth Haddad. This is Luna. And, of course, that's PJ. This is the Sunday Evening Unwind, the show about whatever, which pretty much is what it is. It's a show about nothing and everything all at once. It dares to ask the existential crisis. If a bunch of white guys talk about nothing, did they actually talk about anything?
So Seinfeld for 9 seasons.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
We have a couple of fun things coming up on the network in the next few days. Oh, no, that's not right. That's a call. Tomorrow is President's Day. If you are off work, enjoy your long weekend. But in honor of that, we're watching The American President, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Be sure to join us for that. It's going to be quite a fun time. A Rob Reiner film penned by Mr. Sorkin himself.
Michael J. Fox is in it. That's the best part.
I was literally just about to say it also features PJ's favorite actor of all time, Michael J. Fox, but my lines were stepped on, and I'm going to have to contact my agent. On Wednesday, Tim Franco is going to be hosting Suddenly Soundtracks, and we're going to be talking about our favorite pop-punk songs. We have an incredible panel for that. As I said, hosted by Tim. I'm on it. James White is on it. Sean Sullivan is on it. David B. Music is on it. Who am I forgetting?
You said Tim.
Oh, Dan Nye.
Yeah,
How
Dan
can I
Nye.
forget the most handsome of us all? Yes, that's right. So,
Halloween 4 tonight, Reefism.
because nothing says Valentine's Day like an inferior Michael Myers film.
That movie is not inferior, sir. That is one of the best sequels in that franchise.
But is it inferior to the first one?
If we're talking about the sequels, it's one of the best sequels in the series.
I said what I said. Then on Thursday night, because we voted live on air every Thursday night, it's Ramble On with Handsome Dan and Clever Eric. They'd go on at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. I don't know what they're going to talk about or what guests they're going to have, but that is our new movie news show that we're so proud to have them as part of the network. You know, they've been doing this show for years somewhere else. Now they do it here, and they do it live, which is really fun. Then Friday.
I don't. People know that I literally only wear horror stuff, right? Like, this is not. Why is it always surprising? Like, this is my wardrobe. Horror
The only
t-shirts.
thing that's not surprising in relation to your wardrobe is why today you're celebrating Singles Awareness Day.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I love you, buddy. Let's do it. Then on Friday, and look, we have to have an internal meeting about this because Friday starts the new season. Friday starts War of the Schmodown. There's a pay-per-view event, which would most likely cut into our normal start time of a watch-along. And because this watch-along is picked by our executive producer, Brandon Buckingham, we might start an hour later. We will update you guys throughout the week on our other shows and on Twitter. But we are watching a personal favorite of mine. The nostalgia is alive and well. It's Knuckle Puck time because we're watching D2, The Mighty Ducks, starring the great Emilio Estevez, son of Martin Sheen, who was in a movie I watched today, which we'll talk about soon.
And I watched last night.
Of course, Saturday is our WandaVision chat. It's going to be episode 7. We are in the climactic episodes of the season. What a ride it's been. I cannot wait to talk about this lovely Scarlet Witch and her exploits with you all. Finally, of course, as you all know, or maybe you don't, we do have a Patreon. Check it out. See if there's a tier that's right for you. Our patrons are incredible. We could not do this without you. A special shout out to our executive producers, Brandy Parker, Brandon Buckingham, and Ricardo Franco. Our gold producer, Sean Wingblade, and all of our wonderful producers, Mike K, Stephen White, Kale the Youth Critic, Bedore, Jake Berlin, Anton Putra, Tyler Birch, Patricia Carrillo, Chris Pokernoy, Shira Potato, and the illustrious Molly Damon. I think I can say this because I'm not employed by the Schmodown. I'm rooting for you, Molly. Kick some ass. Anything else before we introduce our incredible panel of guests?
Give me.
This is Oswald. He is wearing pajamas.
Give me all the positive vibes going into this week. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a long goddamn week.
For the love of God, give some warning before that GIF, Maxwell. I am warning you. I am going to play that GIF now. Like that? Is that how you do it?
I've never heard anyone be like, please warn me that you're sending a GIF.
I'd also like to say we have already received 2 Streamlabs donations tonight. The first is from Brandy Parker, who says, Happy Valentine's Day to some of my favorite people. I hope you all feel the love the PJCN viewing family has for each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you, Brandy. We talk all the time about how, forget the money, forget the Patreon, although don't. Keep giving us your money, keep being patrons, but it's not the money itself that matters. It's the fact that you keep coming back, that you support us. That's really wonderful. And then we got another donation from Brandon Buck, who says, love everyone on the PJCN squad. You all rock. By the way, Maxwell will do so amazing on Tuesday. Yes, that's right. I am going to be on Shmow Me the Money on Tuesday with Buck and Quiz Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And in fact, someone who I'm on with is also on the show with us here tonight. But before we get to her, you want to introduce some of our guests? You want me to do it? I mean, I'm better at introductions, but if
you're way better. I always let you do that. That's okay. I can't do it. It's just how it is.
You have a preference of order.
I want to start with the one who has the best name. Do you know which name that is?
Yeah, so this guy's always here, so he doesn't get much of an introduction. It's Tim.
Halloween 4 rocks. Yes. Thank you, Tim.
2 of my dogs barking just in time for me to be introduced. They're been quiet this whole time, and they're like,
"This is true." I will be competing on Shmow Me the Money against Amber.
Mm-hmm. Against Me is a good band too.
Against Me is a good band. Next, I would like to introduce the gentleman with perhaps the most luxurious facial hair that I know. Someone who has inspired me to be a worse human being. Someone who loves Star Wars even more than I do, even though I have a Star Wars tattoo and he does not. Someone who I think is going to take the Star Wars division by storm this season, and who is maybe the only person on the network more handsome than the guy whose nickname is Handsome Dan. It's Sean Sullivan.
So today, for
open up PBR,
we are drinking PBR coffee. Is that the coffee drink?
PBR coffee.
Have you had it yet? How is it?
It's quite good.
Yeah, I wanted to try it because it's just so strange.
I didn't know that PBR was making coffee now.
That's all I'll say is that PBR coffee is...
I want to get some of that Coca-Cola coffee.
I've seen that in the store too.
I had to go to Bevmo for all of you happy hour fans out there, I have crafted the next drink for happy hour. Marcus, you shut your whore mouth. Marcus, I know where you live. I know where you live. Actually, I have no idea where you live, but I know where your parents live.
True says that sounds gross, but how does it taste, Mr. I'm on corruption? Is it corrupting your palate?
It's really it doesn't taste anything like PBR.
Well, I'm sure it's just a super sweet coffee that has alcohol in it, essentially.
It tastes way better than any of the Starbucks canned coffees you're gonna get. And it was $4 for a 4-pack.
That's pretty good. One time, me, PJ, and Frank drank 2 baskets full of PBR, and then Liz had to help us exit a barbecue restaurant.
It's a true story. That was last January or last August.
Happy hour buckets. And they were already tipsy at the first bucket. And when the waitress came by and said, "Do you want another?" they said, "Yes, please." And I said, "No," but she still brought the bucket.
This speaks to my beer drinking unfortunateness, but that wouldn't even affect me.
To be fair, Brandy's saying all beer is gross. Brandy, this tastes nothing like beer. I don't think there's any beer content in this.
We have two more guests.
Water.
This woman is a favorite of the Pajukin. She is one of my personal favorite Schmodown competitors. I love talking to her about board games and other fun stuff. It's the meme queen herself, Jen Kemp. Happy Valentine's Day, Jen.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
How are
Glad
you doing?
to be here. I'm okay. Yeah, it's been a hell of a week, but I just wanted to hang out. So, yeah.
Awesome. And finally, this person, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, is making their PJCN debut?
I believe so.
I
Star
always
Drew,
love
Jem
it.
Kemp.
Jem Kemp? Is that sort of like when you take like someone's name, like,
Hey, that's pretty close to Gem in the Hologram, so I'll accept it.
CJ Pamble.
I was going to say, I'm starting to think
Sam
Star Drew is
Franco.
actually Chris Clark in disguise.
The fun
Because if
thing
you
is
know
if
anything
you
about
take
Chris
Sean
Clark,
Sullivan's first and last name and switch the consonants of the first and last name, he's still Sean Sullivan, whereas I'm Haxwell Madad. Anyways, this person is making her Pajukin debut. I've gotten to know her fairly well over the past few months. I think she's just a delightful, wonderful person. I love her hair color. We have a lot of shared interests. She has recently joined the fray over at Let's Get Ready. And yeah, she was in the chat earlier because we are going to be competing against each other on Schmo Me the Money. It's Amber.
Hi. I brought my Valentine. It's Grogu.
Oh, that Grogu's a good Valentine.
He's my cuddle friend. He hangs out in my lap for every single show that I do. So there you go. Now you know the secret.
Is he like a security blanket?
Yeah, I work with him too. So when I get mad people on the phone, I'm just like, I'm gonna hug my Grogu.
I also have a security blanket, but it's literally a blanket.
My other security blanket is back here.
But it is a Frozen on Broadway blanket, so it does have Anna and Elsa on it.
I love it.
Marcus says that's a really good bad guy name, Haxwell Madad, the master computer science. Brandy's excited to see you. I can't tell if Cam is excited to see you or not because she just without any.
That's me. Hey. Also, you guys were talking about names, and I put my handle in there because it's apparently hard to read for Ferris. He calls me Teriyaki Chicken.
Oh my God!
So
I gotta say, I'm kind of with him on that one.
It's Takara Kanashi. It means sad treasure in Japanese. It was an accident. I was writing a book, and
she guessed who it was. Well, then, good guess, Cam. Chris Adams says Haxwell Madad is going to be the Tony Stank of the PJCN-CU. And speaking of the PJCN-CU, I don't know if you guys saw what was posted on our... Oh.
Uh-oh. It's happening again.
On our Twitter the other day, but there's an animated film that we're working on where Sean plays Buzz Lightyear, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Stranded Astronaut.
Yeah, and right now I'm trying to get the rights to Ralph. If anyone's unfamiliar with Ralph, go ahead and head over to the Brandon Hanna network. I have no idea what his channel's called.
I'm not going to lie, my first thought was you wanted the I'm going to wreck it guy. Not
no, Ralph.
Me too.
We want Ralph. Brandon's little puppet, Ralph. Brandon today released his Christmas special, and we're trying to acquire the rights to it.
Because nothing says Christmas like February the 14th.
And puppets.
And puppets. Well, look, we're going to start out this Unwind like we start all Unwinds and talk about our weeks in pop culture. What did you watch? What did you read? What did you play? What did you do? And because I know he only watched one thing because he's preparing something, let's start with Sully because it'll be simple. Star Wars, and let me guess. Star Wars?
I watched, let's see. Okay, so I started off my week with Star Wars, and then I watched a Star War, and then I watched another Star War. I watched another Star War, I watched some more Star Wars. I did some study questions for Star Wars. Some more Star Wars. And then I, of course, played Spider-Man. Played all of Spider-Man, the first one. And then I played all of Spider-Man, the second one. And then I watched some more Star Wars.
Now, I was on a private call with you while you were playing Spider-Man, and you kept asking me where the Chrysler building is, and I could not get it into your head that you were on, like, literally
on it.
Well,
literally on
you could not
the
see
Chrysler.
it
Okay,
because
so
you were
Maxwell,
upon it.
you brought something up that Chris Clark and I stumbled on yesterday.
Okay.
The Chrysler building is not in Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was sold between Spider-Man for the PS4 and Spider-Man Miles Morales. And the copyright holders won't let Sony use it in the new Spider-Man game.
Interesting. So if Peter Parker shows up in Miles Morales, he's just gonna be like, that building's gone. It disappeared.
Where's that building?
There is now a hot dog stand where the Chrysler building used to be.
That's
It's a weird square black building.
Are you enjoying your PS5?
I'm quite enjoying my PS5. I've pretty much only played PS4 games on it.
It's fine. Well, you're playing Miles Morales.
I beat Miles Morales, yeah, and I'm
Okay.
playing it again because it's fun. But I played Fallen Order on it. I played Infamous.
Second Son.
And, yeah, which was a fucking great game. I love that
Good game.
Love a good superhero game.
Yes.
Marcus in the chat brings a good point. Yeah, I shouldn't be paying attention to that information.
All right. Well, that's riveting. Tim?
Hey, you asked.
No, I did. You're right. I did.
I watched a lot. We can get like the more mediocre out of the way. I watched Aliens versus Predator and Aliens versus Predator Requiem because my favorite podcast with Gorley and Russ are covering the Alien series right now. And so this week was AVP and next week is Requiem. So I figured I'd get Requiem out of the way this week. And
I don't mind the first one.
The first one was a lot of
fun.
Requiem.
The second one is
Requiem.
awful.
This was the first time I ever saw Requiem, and I already knew it wasn't like good, and so yeah, it wasn't great. So, but anyways, those were those two. I watched Summer School, the Carl Reiner movie from 1987.
Oh, I love that movie
because it was on CBS All Access, and I finally signed up for CBS All Access to watch the Super Bowl. Which
the best part is you signed up for it about 3 weeks before it becomes Paramount Plus.
I did, but it's fine. And but I love that movie, Summer School. That movie's great. I
would love a Blu-ray release. It feels like the perfect movie for Shout to put out.
Heck yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's only on DVD.
I watched more Lost because I'm in a Lost rewatch right now, and so this week I watched several episodes, but one of them was The Constant, which is one of the best episodes, if not the best episode of the show.
It's my favorite episode.
Yeah, and I watched.
Yeah, I think The Constant is one of the greatest episodes ever made of television.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Correct.
And then I also started. I'm just starting lots of stuff. Like so much stuff I'm doing right now. I started a Band of Brothers rewatch because it has been a while. So I'm almost through with that. Actually, I'm on episode 7, and that's great. I started a Dinosaurs watch because it's on Disney Plus now. So I watched like a couple episodes of the first season of that this week. WandaVision, of course. I watched. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Well, Judas and the Black Messiah I watched yesterday, which is absolutely incredible. So definitely watch that if you haven't. It is really, really good. Very, very good, and it's important, and yeah, it says a lot. So definitely check it out. I feel like I'm leaving something off, but I don't know what. I watched Sarah Marshall right before we started this stream. Forgetting Sarah Marshall because I love that movie.
AKA the PJ Campbell life story.
Seemed like a very good movie for Valentine.
You roll your eyes, PJ, but you have like clearly and plainly admitted that on air before.
And then on Friday, there was a Joe Bob special.
Did you hear what Elizabeth just said?
No.
She said, "Has everyone heard PJ's penis flapping in the wind?"
Oh God.
On Friday, they did a Joe Bob special on Shudder, which is one of my favorite things ever. And they showed Tammy and the T-Rex, which is a really fun movie. And the second movie was The Love Witch, which has been on my radar to watch, and I haven't seen it yet. And
I like The Love Witch.
It was incredible. That movie is really, really amazing. And the fact that it's was made in 2016, but it looks like the director Anna Biller just really captured the look and feel of the 60s, and it's if you haven't seen it, it's honestly it's probably not for everyone because it's kind of it's very witchy and weird, but I loved it, and I think it's a beautiful movie, and I'm excited, and I really hope she gets to do more because she has a great eye. So, anyways, that's it.
I just want to make a quick announcement, which is relevant in as much as we were talking about what we just watched. I don't know if you're all sitting down, but according to Letterboxd, Abigail Friel just watched Herbie Fully Loaded.
Big shocker there.
Surprising.
Shock. All right, Jen.
You know, it's not on Disney Plus anymore.
Is it not?
No.
Apparently not, according to our Twitter from earlier. Yeah.
I thought I had time to go watch it.
It is on HBO.
Yeah, I've been having a bit of a depressing week, so when that happens, I regress pretty hard. So yeah, I've just been plowing through Breaking Bad, and I'm already on the final season. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I finish it. But I said I was regressing. I'm watching Teen Titans again. I'm watching Breaking Bad again. I rewatched Always Be My Maybe, the only Valentine's thing I actually watched, and it's because of Jimmy Woo, essentially, just rolling on the Randall Park screen.
Was that your first time watching it?
Good. No, I've seen it a couple times, and I was like, that was the one that I was like, you know what? I love Jimmy Woo on WandaVision so much. So I was like, I need to support Randall Park in another way. So yeah, I have that. The only new things I watched this week were I watched The High Note on HBO Max, which was fun. It's a fun movie. It's not great, and you can kind of see how it's going to go. But it's pretty good. It's
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yes, Tracy Ellis Ross and oh my God,
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah. So it's fun. There's some nice music in there, and it's just a light film. So I'd recommend it if you're bored. And I didn't watch the whole series, but my sister has been watching the Fate Winx saga or whatever. So without realizing, I watched the finale episode, and I was like, okay. So I enjoyed that. So maybe I'll go back and watch it because it has Thomas from Downton Abbey in it. So that would probably be the reason that I go back and watch it.
There you go.
And yeah, other than that, I've been playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is a Greek version of Breath of the Wild, and it's so expansive that I just plug it in for 3 hours and do maybe 2 tasks, and that's it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. It's been on my radar. Sean looks like this is the first he's hearing of it.
It's really fun. It's funny too. It has the same kind of gameplay as Breath of the Wild, but it does kind of hold your hand a little bit. So if you felt like you were overwhelmed by the vastness of the tasks in Breath of the Wild, this is probably more your speed.
Fair. Awesome. All right, Amber.
Whew. I got a lot because I marathon a lot of things during work. We finished Long Way Round, which that I've been watching all of the Long Way series with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman. We started Long Way Down.
I know all about Ewan McGregor, as is well documented here on the PJCN.
I know, and it makes me so happy. We got through, I want to say, half of episode 4 right before I came in here. So I ate dinner and came here. Definitely watched WandaVision 3 times and then cut a review episode with Justin, so that was fun. Today I started To All the Boys, Always and Forever, and we actually stopped it to watch Long Way Down. This week we talked a lot about watching Bring It On, In It to Win It, and I do not know why. That's a Ferris and I thing. And I was like, it's filmed at Universal Orlando Resort, so I need to watch it again just to see Jaws pop out of the water awkwardly. Wow.
You mean like this poster right here?
Home.
This is not a poster, Maxwell. She is a real person.
I was...
And then it's all right, Liz. I recognize you as a real person. You're fine. Let's see. And then during work, I finished New Girl. I finished Cobra Kai season 3, and I started How I Met Your Mother again. I've watched so many TV series in the last year. As for books, I finished Light of the Jedi, and I really loved it. Nice. I read In a Holidays. I do book of the month, and I finished that one in a day and a half. And then I started Honey Girl. And then the only other things I've been doing this week, I say this as if I haven't watched a lot of stuff and read a lot of stuff. I streamed a lot with LGR, and I finished one entire rom-com King of the Hill match. It was great. Yay. That was a long time. There was a long time invested in that.
Marcus said, Maxwell just showing that Liz is poster perfect. Yeah, I love that you've been like joined or become a part of LGR. I think you fit in so well there, and they needed a professional, and you're there to fill that hole.
Damn right they did.
I'm gonna pass that on and be like, everybody loves me because I'm a professional.
Well, look,
Hello.
we already know half the people on LGR are so far up one faction or another's ass that, you know, I'm glad we have someone a little bit less biased on the show.
You mean the person that already has a corruption shirt? Okay.
If you're biased towards the correct faction, it's okay.
Now, Sean, what if I told you I am biased towards a faction other than the one that you're on, and the one that you're on is my second favorite faction? How would you feel about that?
I would say that you're wrong. Even Jennifer's a corruption fan.
It's hard not to be, like, honestly. So
don't get me wrong. I think corruption is great. I think Shannon's a queen.
I'm a recovering corruption. That's the only recovering corruption on this panel.
Recovering corruption addict. I'm getting clean. Hold on.
Recovering corruption member here.
Were you on? Oh yeah, were you on corruption last year?
Yeah, it was an OG corruption.
Yeah.
Dang.
Stacey Howard.
Yeah, Brandy gets it. It's the dungeon.
Listen, they put together a good team, but you know.
They did. All right, PJ. You want to go last, or you want me to go last?
No, I can go real quick. I mean, there's one of them that you and I are going to talk about together, but I did catch
Tim
up
can
on
talk about it too.
Yeah, I caught up on a couple of things this week, but the first thing was I finally watched The Little Things because eventually I was going to have to watch it. It's basically Seven light. It's fine. Denzel's good. Rami's miscast. Jared Leto is being something. I'm not really understanding any of the awards talk around his performance at all. It needed a better director, I think, more than anything, just because I don't necessarily think that John Lee Hancock was like the right person for the movie, especially when you look into the history when it's like Clint Eastwood at one point was going to talk about doing it, and like Warren Beatty was going to do it, and Danny DeVito could have done it. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of names where you're like, I would have much rather seen that version of the movie.
Sure.
It is what it is. Like, it exists. It's on HBO Max if you really want to watch it. So you're paying $7. You might as well watch it before it disappears.
I'll probably watch it.
You should. I mean, again, it's like it's not bad. It's just not great either. Obviously, we watched Big Fish here. I revisited Captain Underpants after watching Judas and the Black Messiah, because Judas and the Black Messiah, which we're going to talk about, is like a hell of a movie. And it leaves you in a mood. And I was like, I'm going to rewatch Captain Underpants because it came up when we were hanging out one night. Dude, that movie is still so excellent and so funny.
I'm sure I've told this story before, but Liz and I saw it in theaters in the Upper East Side, which, if you aren't familiar with New York, is a very like wealthy, hoity-toity neighborhood. Captain Underpants is a comedy. I'm not sure if you are all aware of this, but when one sees a comedy, they tend to laugh. So as I watched this film, I was laughing. And at one point I laughed, and a mother turned around, looked at me, and shushed me for laughing during the comedy film.
I remember going to a critic screening of it, and to be honest, Fox didn't treat the movie super great. Like, they waited until the day before, I think, or like 2 days before to even screen it for critics. So a lot of us going in were like, oh, great, this movie is probably terrible. Because usually if a studio waits until the last minute, it's not a great sign. And so I was there. William Bibiani and Whitney Seibold were there. I was across the theater and could hear Bibiani laughing. He was laughing so hard. I will never forget that. If you have never seen Captain Underpants, you really owe it to yourself. It is so funny. It is up there with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs for me, as far as animated films that are like a love letter to a thing, but also lampooning it very heavily, because Cloudy is clearly like a riff off disaster movies, and this one is just a riff off of superhero movies. And the Weird Al song in it is so good, because he wrote the theme song. I love Weird Al.
We know.
Yeah. I've been reading comics. I've been reading a lot of comics. I'm currently reading The Twilight Zone and The Shadow, because if anything ever needed to cross over, The Shadow and The Twilight Zone was definitely it. Yeah, just, having fun, trying to keep my head above water before I drown. The movie Trivia Schmodown stuff has got me super stressed out.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Bibbs' laugh
We'll
or
see.
RB3's laugh, PJ?
I mean, RB3's got the
man.
greatest laugh of all time. Let's be real.
Fair. Liz, is there anything you want to talk about that you watched without me?
Without you? No, I don't watch things without. Oh, no, I didn't watch it this week. I didn't watch my Apple TV shows this
You
week
watched
yet.
Forge with Fire a little bit.
Not really. It was
No?
on in the background. I normally watch Servant and Dickinson, but I have not actually watched them yet this week. So I am an episode behind on my shows that Max does not watch. And yes, I did watch Forge with Fire, but that's kind of my background noise show. So I play it, but I couldn't tell you what knives they built.
I will say this. 1 in every 3 Forged in Fire competitors has the same exact beard as Sean Sullivan.
Not surprised.
He would fit right in aesthetically. So I watched a bunch this week. So I watched Let Him Go with Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, which I loved. It was not at all the movie I was expecting. When it came out last summer and was one of the few movies playing in theaters, I sort of thought it was just like a mediocre action movie, but it's actually a really beautiful neo-Western that gets pretty dark and has great performances. And then I finally watched Freaky. I don't know why it took me so long. I guess I just waited for it to come out on Blu-ray, and I really enjoyed it. I love both the Happy Death Days. I love slashers. It's from the same writer-director as those, and it's definitely a tonal sibling. And I would love if they did Freaky Death Day where the two worlds converged. Would be perfect.
I think they're going to, too, because Maxwell and I noticed they're definitely selling them as a package right now, both on Blu-ray and on digital. They're pushing real hard, and Landon's even been sharing fan-made posters of it.
Although it did just get announced that he's writing the reboot of Paranormal Activity.
Is it a reboot or is it a continuation?
I think it's like a reboot-quel.
Okay, that's what I thought too, because that's how I read that.
Because there's been a gap between, I think, they're not going to ignore or replace the continuity, but it's going to be all new characters. Because he wrote
4 of them, didn't he?
He wrote a bunch of them, and then he directed the marked ones, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
I like the marked ones quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, marked ones is really good.
Then we watched All the Boys, Always and Forever, which I really liked. We actually caught up with the second one, because I had watched the first one 3 or 4 times, and then for some reason never watched the second one. The second one was fine. Compared to the first, I think it's kind of disappointing, but still cute. But the third one's really good. I don't want to spoil anything, especially because Amber said she's halfway through it. But I think the way it ends and the way the story unfolds is more mature than I would have expected for a teen rom-com trilogy on Netflix. And the way that it focuses on the wants and needs of the teenage main character left me really happy. And it's just a fun movie. They take a trip to New York. She gets to go to Korea. It's just really enjoyable.
It's a little bit different because I read the book, and I think it's interesting because they changed the whole university thing to the West Coast. And I would just like to say that the worries about how far Stanford and Cal are from each other, I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's an hour, and nobody drives through the city. What are you talking about? Go around.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but finish it, and then we'll talk again.
Oh, yeah, we will. Promise.
Okay. Now, this next movie I watched, I want everyone... Oh, Sean left.
We lost Sean.
I want everyone alive to watch this movie, with the caveat that this movie is not going to be for everyone because it's operating on such a singular wavelength. And that movie is Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
I really need to watch this.
So much.
Legitimately, without any hyperbole, one of the funniest movies I've seen in years and years and years. I would put it up there with Popstar and 21 Jump Street, and in terms of just existing in its own world without any rules of sheer lunacy. Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumlow are brilliant, but who honestly steals the show, and I was shocked, is Jamie Dornan. I think of him as the serial killer in The Fall, and then having to suffer through those 50 Shades movies where it's not really his fault that those movies don't work. The scripts are terrible. He is hilarious in this movie.
Point, Maxwell said, Magnolia may not be my favorite movie.
It's true.
Anymore.
It's true. I loved it so much.
Wow.
He was incredibly high, I think.
No, so I wasn't, but it is a movie wherein you feel like you are stoned while you watch it because it makes no sense in the best way. Like, it is so perfectly calibrated to achieve what it wants to achieve, you know?
It's absurd, and I enjoyed it.
Absurd, and you gotta watch. Oh, so good.
I gave up nap time to watch the movie. Like, that's what I was doing.
See, every week Marcus does this. He twists my words just a little bit. So now perhaps the funniest movie I've ever seen.
It's like he's just goading you now at this point.
It's fine. You will never think of the name Trish the same way again. Then this morning I watched Valentine, the cheesy but fun slasher from the early 2000s.
So good.
And then just a little while ago we watched Judas and the Black Messiah. What was that?
TikTok.
Sean probably. Uh-oh. God damn.
Y'all right there?
Me? I'm fine.
Just hearing that TikTok scares me. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That's the sound of your life running out.
Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah is a pretty incredible film. It's eligible for like the 2020 Oscars because of its expanded eligibility period, although for my purposes it's a 2021 film, but for what it's worth, had it released last year, it would have at least been in my top 5 of the year. It is brilliant and powerful and intense, and it's the exact kind of biopic I like because it's a biopic that really just focuses on sort of one incident.
This is a test donation for $78.
Oh, please stop that right now. What was it?
Why it's one of your favorite.
Oh yeah, it's the exact type of biopic I like because instead of those movies where they try to give you like, and yes, it's not a spoiler, it's a true guy's life. Fred Hampton only lived till 21, so it's not like they had, years and years to go off of, but it's hyper focused, very detailed, and it almost plays out more like a thriller than a biopic, and it just the intensity is ratcheted up the whole time. But like so many of these movies we see, it's like nothing has changed.
So it's so interesting too because this movie is tied to like quite a few other movies you can also watch. Like an obvious example would be Malcolm X. It would make it, but also if you think Trial of the Chicago 7 is very tied to it as well in certain aspects.
They mention a character. And I like, don't get me wrong, I like Trial of Chicago 7. I don't love it like you do. But to me, this movie makes Trial of Chicago 7 look like Child's Play.
No, that's fine. I'm just talking about, but also Mississippi Burning. Because one of the characters in this is also tied to the events of Mississippi Burning. So, like, there's a bunch of different movies you could watch at the same time that all sort of tie together.
Yeah.
And
it's
also...
Okay. Everyone can have their own opinions, Cam. That's fine.
But also, I really think that it works well with BlacKkKlansman because I think there's
the tone is very similar.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but Martin Sheen plays J. Edgar Hoover, and he's grotesque.
It's so scary.
Oh my god, so scary.
So yeah, there's all sorts of things you can watch if you wanted to, but yeah, the movie's powerful and incredible, and the performances are absolutely excellent, and that's why I had to watch something a little bit nicer last night afterwards because I was just like fully drained by the time it was over.
Yeah, I really feel like Daniel Kaluuya is going to win Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. Whether or not that's a case of category fraud, maybe. I mean, him and Lakeith are arguably co-leads, but I think he could win in supporting, and he was nominated at the Golden Globes and the SAG for supporting, so...
It was also kind of nice to see them get to be in like a full movie together versus just like a single scene and get out.
Yeah.
So it was just that was a fun little thing to like see them together again, and I hope that they continue being a duo who works together because I think they're so incredible.
There was a third member of the Get Out film also in this movie.
It's true.
You guys know who it was?
Brian Tyree Henry?
No.
Nope.
No?
He's not in this. No.
Who was it?
Lil Ray.
Lil Ray Howry.
Oh, Little Ray. That's, yeah.
I
got
was
him mixed
kind of
up.
shocked I was like, hold up. Is that Lil Ray?
Yeah. He doesn't look like himself necessarily, but yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And that scene is fantastic.
That scene's great.
You okay, Maxwell?
I'm laughing at what you said to Shug. Hello, Sugar. Glad you're taking notes on how to host a show.
Look, according to him in the comments, I'm the new host of LGR. Last night on our random late night thing, he was like, yeah, you can just be the host. I'm like,
good.
Okay.
That's a good
Cool.
change.
Just, fine. Let's just do this. Let's go.
Like I said, it's nice to finally have some professionalism over at LGR.
Woo! Woo!
Boom, roasted.
Boom, roasted.
Oh.
What did you think of Judas and the Black Messiah?
It's a very heavy movie, so definitely be in the right mindset for that. I enjoyed that, although it is a biopic and it kind of does use some footage from that's made to go forward and things like that. You don't really realize while you're watching it that you're watching real events unfold. So I think that allows there to be a connection that some people may not originally had if they knew it was like the story of the Black Panthers and of this person. So like having that little bit of distance from it just lets you really put aside any preconceived notions you might have of the group and things like that, and you really get to delve into what they were trying to do and what their mission was and how the FBI really just spent an entire generation tearing apart this group that's whole goal was to empower people and to make a situation better. And even the outreach across all of the different groups. So you see them go to the Puerto Ricans and even to Klan members and kind of try and bridge this gap to say, we're all being kept down by the same people and we're all fighting against each other because they want us to fight against each other. And so you end up kind of disappointed realizing that what actually has kept us in the same place that we are now. What? Why is everyone laughing?
Not at you. It's the stuff in the chat again, Liz.
You're right. Oh my God, Sean. This is just okay. Sorry, Liz.
I just think it's a movie that should be respected a little bit and not making other side jokes around while it's being talked about. Like,
Why do you guys keep me on the show?
oh,
All I do is sow chaos.
I mean, you just click on the link and there you are.
I think it like does a really nice job of humanizing the Black Panthers, an organization that has always sort of been wrongly vilified and presented in very one-dimensional ways. Only other thing I want to say about it is it just continues my my thought process that Jesse Plemons is pretty much the best character actor of his generation.
Yeah, he's great.
He's good, dude.
So great in everything. He shows up and I'm like, this is going to be good.
I was telling Pat earlier, he's like up there with Michael Shannon in terms of playing like the quiet, menacing like creep, basically.
He's so good, man, and it's so funny because like dude could be so good when he's doing dramatic roles like Fargo and doing stuff like this, but then he's also really good in comedies. If you look at Game Night, like that, he's so talented. Oh my God,
he's fucking good in Game Night.
He is, and then Fargo season 2 also, like he is so good. Season 2 might still be my favorite season of Fargo, if only because of him and Kirsten Dunst, and like that whole storyline is so good.
That episode of Black Mirror 2, the McAllister or whatever it's called.
Oh yes, the Star Trek one. Oh my God.
What's up, JT? We got a JT in the chat.
Hi, JT.
And I think another thing the movie did really well is that you kind of see how easy it was for people to get caught up being FBI informants. especially when there's the moment when they remind him what's on the line for him to not work with the FBI. And so you start to realize how even people who might have believed in what the Black Panthers were doing were kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because they were facing 10, 15, 20 years in federal penitentiary themselves if they chose not to go against the Black Panther Party. And so it was just really, it was the first thing I've seen that really let you in as how the FBI and our government really just destroyed what could have been a very good thing. And they even go forth and talk about how they didn't want the violence and they didn't want what they were pushed towards. They were legitimately just trying to feed kids and make a community health center and bring people up on their own, in their own path. But they also weren't going to be pacifists about it when the government tried to stop them from doing it. And I think it's the true way to show the story. Like, it was the first time I legitimately thought that none of it was like blown out into Hollywood proportions. Like, it all happened in very small moments that were impactful. Even just like seeing Frank leave prison and find out that his girlfriend was pregnant, like in those the conversations that they have around that, and the path forward when they realize they're not just a bunch of single individuals moving together, they're suddenly a family and things like that. Like, it really just added to this history that I don't think a lot of us know that much about.
Yeah, I agree. You should watch it if you haven't seen it, if you have HBO Max. I also just love we're having this very serious conversation about a very serious, good film, and there's this like whole other thing going on in the chat. There's like a war breaking out between like Let's Get Ready and Cam and Amber, and like I can't keep track. It's like the whole thing.
No. It's just basically, teriyaki chicken's my name, and Shug is just being Shug, and that's.
But your name says Teriyaki Vision.
I know, I changed it. I was like, all right, perfect. I watched WandaVision and my name's Teriyaki Chicken. We're doing the thing.
Perfect.
Nothing needs to make sense anymore. It's fine. It's fine.
So it's Valentine's Day or Singles Awareness Day, depending on your point of view, I suppose. Shout out to our good friends over at POV who took the night off.
It's true. And yet here we are. We didn't want to take 2 weeks off. We gave you guys Super Bowl night. We get you back for Valentine's Day. That's what we do here.
Well, I was just going to mention that POV is off, but Sean is still alone on camera.
Look, except I just saw a hand. Yeah, what the fuck was that hand?
Whose hand is that?
I'm about 4 drinks in because Jill's been at her mom's.
Is that Jill?
I don't know what that is.
I want it noted that he said it, not she or he or anything. It. He doesn't know what it is, and that's even more terrifying.
It's just a hand grabbing shit off my bookshelf.
Could be a roommate. Could be your butler. I don't know. Do you have a butler?
I'd like a butler, but he moved up to San Jose. Speaking of which, Jill does hate Marcus's cookies. That is a fact.
It's not at all.
Oh, it is. There it is.
Jill. Hi, Jill. So, it's Valentine's Day.
That's what we're told.
And, we did a show a while ago about our favorite romantic comedies. Hi, Jill. Hi, Jill.
Dances casually through the background.
We did a show about our favorite romantic comedies back when the PJ Campbell show was a thing. Or was that an Unwind?
That was an Unwind, I believe.
That was one of the first Unwinds then.
I don't think it was because I wasn't on it. And I think I've been on. I don't know if I've really missed.
Yeah,
it, so.
I do that all the time.
I think it was a PJCN maybe when it was still on.
Might have been. I don't remember. Anyways,
I don't know.
So let's talk about some of our favorite romantic couples in either film or television. It doesn't have to be a romantic comedy. It could just be a couple in an action film or a comic book movie or a TV show characters that you ship. Whatever. Let's celebrate love as only Hollywood can show it to us.
Let's be honest. In honor of Sean, we should give it up for the relationship that wasn't allowed to be, which is the great Finn and Poe.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that one's a good one.
That's a throuple though, because you got BB-8 in there too.
So
that
much
is
so that
definitely a throuple.
Finn and Poe is what we have smart lights on our side tables, and you have to give them names so that you can turn them on with your voice. So ours are Finn and Poe.
Because every night when I get into bed, I get to turn Poe on.
Ew.
Poe in the move.
However, I will also shout out Commander Dassey and her wife, Lieutenant. I don't remember her wife's name. PJ, don't ask about that. Lieutenant Ticey, I think, who is a starfighter pilot. They are in Rise of Skywalker, and they share a lovely kiss in the victory celebration. There's also, of course, R2 and 3PO. Great romantic relationship in Star Wars. Han and Leia. We don't talk about Padme and Anakin. Hera and Kanan.
I like
There's
Hera
plenty
and
of great relationships in Star Wars.
That's fine.
What about Luke and Leia and Lorraine and Marty?
Those are good ones. Luke and Leia and Lorraine and Marty, who are Back to the Future, not Star Wars. Oh wait, no, I'm not supposed to know
similar.
things about non-Star Wars.
We got the similar theme going on. You know what I'm saying?
Stardew points out Princess Bride. I'm a big fan of Princess Bride as well.
I do,
but that would be Indigo and
Yes.
Fezzik, right? That would be the couple for me.
Yeah, and if you haven't read the book for The Princess Bride, there's even more juicy stuff between the two of them, so I highly recommend.
Might have to do that.
This is a free for all. Just go for it.
Yeah, chime in. That's all I do.
Favorite love story is Bill and Beatrix. Thank you. From Kill Bill. It's a perfect love story. Moving on.
Patrick.
Perfect.
Anything that ends with you getting like, the 5-point palm exploding heart technique. Yeah, it's fine. We're good. And then it's just like, you look ready. Wipe it off, walk, go. Done.
I mean,
Dead.
he did admit that he overreacted, so.
You overreacted. It's so great. It's just perfect.
Dante and Becky in Clerks 2 is one of my favorites, and
That's a good one.
It's such an outside choice, but that movie is like oddly very romantic and wonderful, and their chemistry is so good. And by the time it's over, like it's just really sweet, and I really love that movie. I'm so excited for Clerks 3. So yeah, that one for me for sure.
When she holds up the nail polish and sticks her feet in his lap, I'm like, perfect. Just continue.
Yeah, it's just the best. I really love that movie.
I'm going to mention one of my favorites from The Office, and you think I'm going to say Jim and Pam, but I'm not. I'm going to say Dwight and Angela. And Michael and Holly. Dwight and Angela.
What about Michael?
I mean, Michael and Holly are so
Michael and Holly,
perfect that it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
But Dwight and Angela, they are the ones that throughout, it is very clear that they have been in each other's minds. So
I mean, to me, the whole story of The Office is Dwight's story. So
I would go Phyllis and Bob Vance.
From Vance Refrigeration.
From Vance Refrigeration, yeah.
What line of work you in?
Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
I love that they have somebody playing an acoustic version of Sweet Child of Mine. I love that so much at their wedding. I'm like, yes to this. Oh,
how
so
about Meredith and the Hammer Mill rep?
This is one I was going to bring up. This is one of my favorites, Jesse and Celine in the Before trilogy. We watched the first one as a watch along here a couple weeks ago. And what's so special about them is every 9 years there's been another film, so you get to sort of check in on how their relationship has evolved, which is rare.
I I was also going to say Ed and Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring movies. Like,
Oh,
those
interesting.
movies don't work without their relationship. Specifically, The Conjuring 2, like, super leans in on why it is so important. I think that the moment that Patrick Wilson picks up the guitar to play Elvis and, like, there's those looks between them, it's so beautiful. And, yeah, we're going the Conjuring universe for Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Nice. I have to say, since we brought up The Office, I have to flip it to Parks and Rec, Leslie and Ben.
I was about to say, they are one of the strongest of all time for TV series, just because they were on the even keel the entire time, and they're so respectful, and I love the whole "I like you" and "I love you" thing. Like, they're really great. So yeah,
their wedding makes me cry every time, and I'm a wedding officiant in another life, and I just I don't cry through actual weddings that I'm doing, but I will sit there and watch it, and I'm just like, people are making fun of me. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. We're fine. Everybody's fine.
I can't think of their names, but in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Andy Samberg's character and
Jake and Amy.
Yeah, Jake
and Amy. Jake and Amy.
I like Jake and Amy.
That's a good.
They're fantastic.
I think if I was to say newer relationships that we've seen on television, I really love the mom and dad from Awesome Playlist. I cannot remember the name.
Zoe's Extraordinary
Zoe's
Playlist.
Extraordinary Playlist. I think just that first season, and even into season 2 now, you really see what a loving relationship can be like, and just how much they both cared for each other, even in the end. And then now the mom taking that forward has just been like, I hope like that's the kind of love everyone can find, that all the little moments that they shared and just how much they put into each other, and even through like his songs, how much about it was wanting his wife to know how much he loved her, and think like, I just thought it was a really warm relationship to like have a journey with.
Yeah. And it's like a later in life relationship too. So they've both clearly been through some shit and they're dealing with real life problems. So it's really refreshing to see that like on a show, like from the beginning. That was like how they were introduced. So
I like when you see a marriage like in action and not just a couple falling in love.
Mm-hmm.
Which can be, we have a lot of good ones in the chat. So we have George Bailey and Mary and It's a Wonderful Life.
100%.
Adjustment Bureau, couple to get them in the end is wonderful.
I love the Adjustment Bureau.
Lupin and Tonks from Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She killed them.
Yeah,
I know.
Why would you do that?
She's killed a lot of things in the last couple years.
Why would you do that, baby?
Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in Sleepless for Seattle, You've Got Mail. Yeah, I love those. Elizabeth and Tom Keane.
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
I think that's The Blacklist, if I might be wrong.
I think that sounds right, but I don't know.
Harry and Sally, of course. Deckard and Rachel. Corey and Topanga. And actually, Corey and Topanga is great, and it allows me to bring up one of my favorites, which is Troy and Gabriella. We talked about the before movies and how wonderful it is to see their relationship evolve. I particularly liked how in each High School Musical, you got to see the deepening complexities of the relationship between Troy and Gabriella and how the singing affected it. Really wonderful stuff. Cinderella and Chris and the King and Queen and Cinderella, 1997, which is just now on Disney+.
Unlike Herbie Fully Loaded.
Matt Damon and Minnie Driver and Good Will Hunting. That's a really good relationship.
Honestly, I like the relationship between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck more in that movie. So,
well, what about Good Will Hunting?
Well, you know what? Actually, though, if speaking of Minnie Driver, her and John Cusack in Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah, Grosse Point Blank.
That's so good, and they are so fantastic together. I rewatched that this week too. I didn't actually put that in my letterbox. I love that movie.
Kenny Powers and April. Eastbound and Down. Lily and Marshall and How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly the superior relationship.
Yep.
Similarly, Chandler and Monica are the superior relationship of friends. No question
Agreed.
about
Are they?
it.
Yes.
To Ross and Rachel? Yeah.
I mean, I like Phoebe.
they're all-
I like Phoebe and Mike.
Yeah, Phoebe might be good too.
Honestly, like I love Friends, but Ross and Rachel is the most uninteresting relationship in the entire
Look,
series.
I'm with you there. But here's the better question: What's your lost couple?
Lost, you said?
Yeah.
It's Jack and Sawyer. Come on.
Desmond and Penny.
It's Jack and Sawyer. Right? Desmond and Penny is
Desmond
pretty
and
good.
Penny.
Nikki and Paolo.
No, get out of here. Bye, Tim.
Can they get bitten by spiders again? That'd be cool.
Hurley and Libby.
Can they
Oh,
get
yeah.
bitten?
Libby's good.
Oh, Hurley and Libby's good, but it was I forget was Libby
Desmond
actually
and Penny?
real?
Or what's her name?
Libby was real.
I forget their names now. I'm just rewatching.
Oh,
Rose and Ralph.
Rose and Bernard.
Yeah.
Rose and Bernard. is
Yes.
I love
Rose and Bernard. I mean, I'm a big Charlie and
Oh, what's her face?
Claire.
I can't remember her name.
Claire.
Yeah.
Charlie and Claire.
My baby
Kelly and
Claire.
Claire.
Yeah.
Charlie and Claire.
I think though I liked Sawyer and Juliet.
I was gonna say that's Sawyer
They
and
made the most
Juliet.
sense. So yeah.
Yes,
I
they
think
did.
they're, like Kate and Jack. I think Sawyer and Juliet were like of all the ones like.
No, bad Anton. Bad.
Hey, you can't talk to him like that. He's a patron.
John Locke
Sorry.
and Kate Siegel.
I love the show. But I kind of agree with him.
John Locke in the Hatch.
John Locke in the Hatch.
I'm gonna say this, and if we
Desmond and
lose
the
a
Numbers?
patron follower for it, so be it. But I think Lost ended perfectly. I think that the writers figured out what they
Yeah,
were.
I think it did too.
Yeah, like
PJ,
I'm of the opinion that show had a perfect ending for that show.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you. Me too.
Anyways, this show is now the Lost Show. Congrats.
Ron Swanson and Bacon.
Yes.
Julia
Swanson and
Roberts
Whiskey.
or George Clooney in the Ocean's trilogy. Oh wait, I'm lost.
Oh,
You are
Sean
indeed.
and Angela.
I don't know who Angela is,
From
but sure.
Boy Meets World.
I know.
Speaking of Sean, Sean and Juliet on Psych was pretty good.
Ooh, another like '90s like family drama, like funny comedy. Steve Urkel and Myra. Was that her name, Myra? His first girlfriend.
I don't even
Now,
remember.
this is one of my favorites actually. Officer Hot and Waverly Earp. A beautiful lesbian relationship on Winona Earp. Great stuff. Carl and Harriet in Family Matters.
Carl and Harriet's good, but they switched out Harriet's.
All Ron and Jason Segel, and I Love
I
You.
mean,
It's
Yes.
a great movie.
Big time.
What about
Slap in
what
the
about
face.
in
Slap in the basement.
what's everyone's favorite MCU couple?
Right now, Wanda and Vision. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
alive or dead, doesn't matter.
you're not crazy, Patty. You're not. You're
Thank you.
absolutely right.
Look, I don't cry a whole lot during media, but the Lost finale and the death of Luke Skywalker get me every time.
Dude, right?
I think my favorite MCU couple is Steve and Bucky.
Yeah.
Stephen Bucky's good. You know what? I really
That's the end
like
of the line.
I will.
I really like
always-
Sharon Carter. I wish we could have gotten a little more of Steve and Sharon.
I'm always gonna say Steve and Agent Carter. Like
Yeah.
that love transcend,
Space and Time.
Literally transcended time, yeah.
and they finally got their happy ending.
Although I do really like Peter and this new MJ a lot.
I do
think-
too.
Yeah, I want to see a little more. I want to see
I
more.
love
of it.
Zendaya.
I'd like to see more
Ooh,
of it.
Scott and Hope is a good one too. Sammy K just put that one in the chat. I love
Faramir and Yoan is good. I said the Blacklist, Marcus. I was right.
I think it was just agreeing with you.
romance.
I want to.
Yeah, this is a great call.
Oh, that's it right there.
Adam's
Yeah.
in the, Adam's.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
It really doesn't.
Wrap the show now. We can't get better than that.
Count Dracula, Gary Oldman version, and Mina Harker, Winona Ryder.
I think talking
Oh, that's
about
a good
it
one,
like,
Sammy.
from newer comedies and even kind of like the Friends era comedies, I don't think they captured relationships nearly as well as like the Munsters and the Addams Family and
The Munsters, yes, great choice.
and
Oh, yeah.
all those type of very 60s 70s relationships. And it even for me kind of was brought into Wanda and Vision, and that's why I loved Wanda and Vision. in the beginning because we got a classic comedy couple.
That's why, there's a lot of sitcoms that do like the will they or won't they, but then you have family sitcoms where you have like the Goldbergs, where you have Murray and Beverly Goldberg. And they behave like every Jewish couple I know. Like, those are my parents. They fight nonstop. They call each other idiots, but they love each other more than anything. Or Randall Park and Constance Wu on Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, Laura and Rob, speaking of sitcoms, in The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Sid and Nancy. Oh, boy.
Patrick, you're not that old.
I love that show.
Who were the kids, the daughter and her boyfriend in the Goldbergs?
Oh, Jeff and whatever her name.
I'm forgetting I like that one. I like the sister and her boyfriend.
Oh, this is interesting. Sammy said his favorite MCU couple is Scott and Hope.
Mm-hmm. I brought that up.
I like them.
What's funny about that? When I heard Scott and Hope, I just thought Scott and Hope Summers, and I went, ew, ew.
Did somebody say Peacemaker?
Amazing.
I've never seen that show, but I heard it's good.
Except for it's ending.
It is ending.
I'll add it to my list.
PJ, which did you like more in MASH? Hawkeye and Trapper or Hawkeye and BJ? Hawkeye and BJ every time. I like the early years with Trapper.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I like the early years with Trapper, but I think the show gets better, and I think that BJ and Hawkeye's relationship is just better. Yes, I used to watch a lot of older sitcoms, guys.
How about
if we're talking sitcom, will they or won't they? I always loved Niles and Daphne.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one that they really managed to keep it strong, even though it strung it along for so many seasons. Like, Friends got old fast for me between Ross, but yeah, that one really, they were just too cute.
I mean, they were on a break. So,
Tim, what were you going to say?
I was going to say a really dumb one, but it was Elaine from Airplane and the Automatic Pilot.
Hera and Kanan is also my favorite Star Wars couple if we don't consider Poe and Finn an official couple.
I really like I don't know if they're actually like a couple, and I'm struggling to remember their names, and quite frankly I don't want to because I don't have room in my head for them. But Kaz and the girl in Star Wars Resistance, I really like as like a young teen couple. Is a lot of fun too.
I can't remember the characters' names, and I'm remiss, but Lost Stars.
Sienna Ree and Thane Kyrell.
Yes, that book is great.
That's probably one of my favorite Star Wars books, honestly.
Me too.
And I've torn through so many Star Wars books in the last year that it's absolutely ridiculous. So.
I'm about 3/4 of the way into Lost Stars right now, and
is this your first time reading it?
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet.
Oh wow!
Not Lost Stars, Light of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, I was like, I thought we talked about Lost Stars before. Yeah,
Lost Stars is my favorite Star Wars book of the new.
Lost Stars is great.
If we're including like all pop culture, I can't let relationships go without mentioning Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yes,
I read that in the beginning of the pandemic. I fell in love with the boys.
You only read it because I asked you to read it.
A good book.
So good.
I listen to it on audiobook. I read everything by audiobook. But Max was like, you have to, it's so good. Like, he even brought me a shirt before I listened to it. And then I was like,
Sully, it's literally about the son of the president and a prince of England getting together.
Oh, okay.
It's really well done. It was one of my book of the month books.
Very sexy scenes.
It's a
between two men.
It's an alternate reality where Barack Obama was our last president, but Trump was not our former president.
Oh, okay.
It was so refreshing. I was like, oh, yay.
I got one for Patrick. The Doctor and River.
Okay, I was worried about where you were going with it, because if you said the Doctor and Rose, I was going to drop you out of here.
No, fuck the Doctor. By that token, how about Amy and Rory?
Yeah,
Amy
Amy and
and Rory
Rory.
is
I love the Doctor and River romance is one of the most awesome forms of romantic storytelling over time travel that maybe has ever been done, and the fact that it's been carried over 3 or 4 separate actors now at this point is like incredible to me. I just love it so much.
Well, I think the way that story's told, like, I'll tell you what, if you're a Doctor Who fan and you've never gone back and watched Silence in the Library or whatever that episode's called,
the Silence in the Library.
If you've never watched gone back and watched the 2 library episodes after learning so much more about River, it's heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking because you've gotten to see so much of River now, and you go back and watch that. Honestly, just watch River's story in reverse.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
So-
oh, go ahead.
No, if you're still talking Doctor Who, finish.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and which leads to their last interaction in the show with her in 13, like so heartbreaking, or 12. I mean, it's just like so heart wrenching when you think about it, because it's also in this timeline, it's going to be the last time that they've seen each other, because the first time she meets him is the last time they ever see each other.
Yeah. Ted and Robin make Ross and Rachel look like Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy.
The worst part about that, too, in my opinion, is that the show goes out of its way over and over and over again to say why they should never be together, only for the show to betray literally everything it did to end it on an ending that they shot in the second
Smallville's Lois and Clark, and from the bit we've gotten so far, I'm really liking the Arrow versus Lois and Clark. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Superman and Lois.
Me too.
In fact, maybe we'll add a little segment onto Water Cooler Chat where we talk about that week's episodes.
Yeah.
Probably won't devote whole episodes to it like we do with WandaVision, and we will with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but maybe like 10 minutes to it would be fun. Yeah, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves are always good in movies. This is going to be a controversial pick, both because the creator has been under deserved fire lately, and also it's not necessarily everyone's favorite couple, but I am a stan of Spike and Buffy. I will go to my grave for Buffy and Spike. That's,
I fully agree.
my
It's
thing.
really rough right now. It's like,
Really, I mean, look,
it hurts. I'm like,
there are certain, we could talk about this a little bit actually, because this is the show about whatever, there's a constant wrestle when you're a fan of something of how do you separate the art and the artist, and do you separate the art and the artist? And I think with something like Buffy, a television show where you had literally hundreds of people working on it, from actors to writers to directors, scenic designers, it is so much more than just one man's creation. And in fact, for the majority of it, and especially towards the latter half, he was off doing other things, and people like Marty Noxon,
Drew Goddard were running the show. So what he did is abhorrent, and I regret that for a large part of my life I idolized him more than almost anyone. Like, I met him a few times, I looked up to him, he was the kind of creator I wanted to be. But Buffy and Angel and Firefly are so much more than just him.
I was going to say Nathan Fillion and Marina Baccarin's is a really interesting twist on the conventional relationship.
Yeah. The other thing you could compare this to is, say, Harry Potter, where, I'm not going to tell you do or don't read them, buy them, this, that, or the other thing, but the difference for me is those books are the creation of one person. And there is certainly credence to the thought that once art is in the world, it's no longer the creator's, it becomes yours. And if those stories meant something to you and they helped you through tough times, that's okay. But you can also be cognizant of what choices you make in terms of how you're spending your money regarding those properties and where it's going towards. You don't have to support those creators, but you could still, and the movies, certainly the Harry Potter movies, much like I was saying with Buffy, those are the works of so many more people, the filmmakers, the actors.
Well, it's something I've struggled with. Obviously, Maxwell and I have talked about it a lot. Like, I grew up watching Mel Gibson movies. I love Mel Gibson as an actor. until I can no longer love Mel Gibson. And so but a lot of those movies that I grew up watching were the movies he was in. Like, everyone knows that Lethal Weapon is my favorite action franchise as far as American cinema, like 80s action movies goes. That one was my favorite. There's so many other people who put their time and effort into those movies, and it's impossible for me to be like, I can't enjoy these anymore. But you also have to remember, Mel Gibson doesn't get a pass just for those movies. Like, I also no longer can really think about supporting the stuff he does now. I just can't do it. Like,
which is a shame, because Boss Level looks so fun.
Yeah, and that's another thing where, again, like, the idea is that is Frank Grillo's the lead in that movie, Joe Carnahan, who I've supported for a long time. Like, you have to be able to look past it, but it's hard.
And I think it's a conversation that we can't really have right now in this like romantic one, but the canceling of like don't consume this, don't consume that. I mean, look at how much Weinstein had his hands in entertainment for an entire generation. And so if we're going to say you can't enjoy Buffy because of what Joss Whedon did, well, then I don't want to catch you watching a single thing that Weinstein put his money.
Which means
like
you can't watch anything Kevin Smith.
You can't find anything.
You can't
Before
watch
Sunrise.
Sorry, Amber, you can't watch your favorite movies anymore. Say goodbye to
I
Kill
know.
Bill.
Yeah, like there's
you can't watch Good Will Hunt. I mean, anything Miramax. I mean, the movies that Weinstein and his brother can't watch Scream anymore.
And it's that whole conversation.
Tarantino.
Like, I think Buffy and Angel and even, the Harry Potter movies are so much more than the one individual. Because, and I'm not giving them a pass at all. I don't want to give J.K. Rowling any more money. I don't want to give Joss Whedon my money. I don't want to give Weinstein my money. But I'm not going to step back and say that there's any media out there that's not problematic, because the industry is a problematic industry and we are dealing with that reckoning. And so going backwards, there's just you would wipe out everything. Like, I could give you a dissertation on why we should wipe out Disney, and that is my favorite company in the entire world.
Yeah.
Because I don't personally think he was anti-Semitic, but there is enough data out there and enough evidence out there that he could be. So you could argue it either way.
I would talk to the Sherman brothers on their feelings on that. But
let's take the most.
But he was there.
Let's take an extreme. Let's take an extreme and not truthful example, right? Let's say that George Lucas suddenly came out that he was doing something untoward and terrible.
I don't know if this is a good idea.
That thought actually occurred to me while I was taking a bubble bath the other day.
But you could look into what Carrie Fisher wrote about her experience in the beginning, and someone could turn the fact that George Lucas did tell her there's no bras in space because you get strangled, that he just wanted to see her without a fucking bra.
Right.
Like, because she was in a very scantily
or even go later and look at the fact that he outright, if you go watch some of the interviews for Attack of the Clones, he outright says, well, this is a very sexy movie, so I wanted to make sure Natalie had something on that was a little more, a little bit more on the dominatrix side of things, and just, she's gotta be the sexy. It's sexy, what the fuck are you saying, George?
George is not even like. I think we need to stop having this like entertainment people on a pedestal and that they're untouchable.
Yeah.
That bad people can create good art.
Art is subjective, and
I would even say to an extent, sometimes the worst people create the best art because their minds are so fucked up.
Miramax not only had an effect on an entire generation, they are continuing to have an effect on the entire film industry. Like, there's people now who came up on Tarantino, Kevin Smith, Rodriguez, and Linklater in the same way and are making their own versions of their movies because because the Weinsteins fucking took a chance on all of them. Like, the 90s Miramax movement is one of the great movements in all of cinema as far as I'm concerned.
And I do think we need to have a reckoning in Hollywood. People of color, BIPOC, white women should feel safe to be on a set and to speak their minds when they're being mistreated. But I also think it doesn't do anyone any good to look backwards and say, oh, I feel terrible to find out that this thing that I enjoyed and loved was created by this awful person. Because that doesn't serve the forwardness of where we need to go.
It's one thing to acknowledge when there have been mistakes in the past, but you just want to learn from it. You don't want to completely throw everything out the moment that you find fault with it. So
yeah, what you said resonates because, I did have the thought, what does it say about me that two of the things I've loved the most in my life, Buffy and Harry Potter, I have a Harry Potter tattoo and a Buffy tattoo, were created by people that are so shitty. What does that say about me? Well, nothing. It doesn't say anything about me because it wasn't JK or Joss that loved.
Attracted you to those franchises.
Right. It was the characters and what they stood for. And to me, Buffy is still the greatest hero ever created.
Legitimately, Harry Potter saved my life. Like in high school, I was going through really tough times. I read literally the same Harry Potter book 3 times in 4 days. And then in college, when I was still living outside New Orleans, and I was just about to move to Florida to do my college program at Disney, and I got obsessed with Harry Potter, and I was running Harry Potter groups on LiveJournal, like little baby Amber, doing all these things, and it was the friendships, it was the things that I like, the people that I got to meet. It was the fact that I now know way too much about sorting people into sorting groups. Major nerd moment right there, but I mean,
you're in the right place for that.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
Amber, if you could take that knowledge and help figure out what house I'm supposed to be in, that'd be great.
It's
a long debate.
You're a freaking Slytherin.
No question.
I mean, even I know like the panel here, quite a few of us like horror movies. Jeepers Creepers. That's another one where it's like those movies are fantastic. Those first 2.
Well.
And then everything that happened there is awful too. Like,
and I do think it's about the path forward because Max and I have had this conversation a lot, and I will say the same with Amber. Harry Potter got me through the worst of my life. I found the novels when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and they ended when she passed away. So it's on the table. Oh, yeah. But Max and I have had these conversations with Woody Allen. He was brought up with I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. So I believed the story much earlier than a lot of my peers did. So I've never consumed Woody Allen. Maybe I've seen 1 or 2 of his movies. I don't know his catalog at all. I do not fault anyone for prior to the Me Too movement enjoying Woody Allen, or even to this day saying they still enjoy the prior movies. Now, if he releases a movie next week on Netflix and you still fawn over it, now I have a different discussion with you.
Right.
Just like if you want to enjoy Harry Potter and stuff that came out and trickled over, and when it was all still just a grader, maybe there's some anti-Semitism in here, maybe there's some transphobia in here, maybe there's some HIV negativity in here. Those were discussions that were being had about nuance. Now that she has proven who she is, off the table going forward. But if you want to go back and you want to share Harry Potter with your kids or your nieces and nephews or whatever, I can't speak for the entire world, but I'm not going to fault you for that.
Well,
I'm not going to fault anyone for ever wanting to share Buffy. But what Joss Whedon goes forward, if that man continues to make powerful female characters and get supported through it, then we have a greater issue.
I mean, the one thing with that, with Harry Potter, it's now become so big that anything that comes out Harry Potter related, unless it's a book directly penned by JK, I mean, they've got that game coming out, and I don't think anyone should stop themselves from buying that game because how many hundreds of people are working on that game, right? Yeah. How many? And that's where it kind of gets tricky. Where sure,
there's certain people that studios are still giving them the space to create something on their own with their name stamped all over it. But when it's something like the Harry Potter games and everything, that's a whole universe that has been supported by a fandom and many different creators, fan fiction people out there, and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's different. Yeah,
Gringotts is one of my favorite rides in the world. I'm not gonna not ride it if I'm at Universal.
Right.
And Jen, I think what you and Sean said is the struggle that I have, because the game still sends money to her pocket.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also, as you say, like it's when you turn over the back, it says Wizarding World, whatever their like digital media conglomerate now is. It doesn't say J.K. Rowling. It might say characters based on J.K. Rowling, but also look at the fact that I love the characters that Dr. Zeus brought to us, and he was a terrible human being. Like, so just like he was overtly racist. And so to struggle even with that like
we can't ever go to Islands of Adventure again.
Yeah. Like, how do you go to Universal Islands of Adventure right now without finding something?
I'm really glad I don't work there anymore, because that would just be a real tough walk into work. I'm just saying.
Like, well, it's a reckoning that I think is hard to have, and everyone's going to find their own fall.
Yeah.
I don't. Yep. H.P. Lovecraft. Like, I don't want to excuse these terrible people.
I'll say this, and this might be controversial, and I apologize if it does. Any individual can choose how they want to move forward with the things that they like or enjoy. When more information comes out about a problematic creator, I don't think it's right for someone to shame someone else who feels differently about it.
And I think that's kind of what I think is.
I have seen people, say really mean and nasty things like, I can't believe you're still watching Harry Potter movies or reading the books. And I'm not going to say the things they said. And I don't see how that's beneficial, because some of the language I've seen used is just so nasty that how is that?
It's not helping.
It's not helping.
This one's wearing a Harry Potter shirt right now.
Well, and like, think about it this way too. People, you don't know what people have gone through. You don't know what that stuff means to someone. Like, if it holds this important part in someone's life, like it does for a lot of us here, like Liz, like just almost crying on camera over this because it means something to her. Are you also going to just tell that person to go fuck themselves because they like the thing? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I would not be sitting here today if I had not discovered Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
The thing I've discovered working in the work that I work in is, unfortunately, and I try to like be knowledgeable about everything and I make my decisions based on that, but unfortunately, again, being where I work, seeing where so much money goes, and I mean, if you really knew where money goes on the products that you spend money on every day in your life, like, you wouldn't be able to buy anything. So the world sucks. Be a good person in your life and try to influence others to be good people and put good out into the world and make your decisions based on that. But being the work that I work in, it gets quite depressing sometimes when you're like, oh God, this is
similar, where a lot of times in my work, you think the money that you're spending is going to the author of a work, and 99% of the time it's not. Like, maybe it is in the case of these big names, but I see a lot of little names every day in my job who their hard work is making someone else a millionaire and not them. And it's the true fact. So if it came out that they were problematic, they're not even the ones making money off of it anymore.
I really think hey Cheryl, I really think what Tim said is the best advice you can get on the subject matter.
I do think we need to be clear, though, that none of us are saying like they're not bad people.
Right.
We stand by what they did or anything. We are against what most of the people we have talked about have done, and we stand for their in favor of their victims. But it's also, when you get into art, having to deal with the art separate from the artist.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, that's it. I just like I think what Tim said is right. All you have control over is putting the amount of good into the world that you can. And so, if you decide I'm not going to shop at Target because I heard a manager at one of their stores in Kissimmee is racist, how is, that doesn't help anybody.
Or even just the
I don't know why Kissimmee is the first town that came to mind. Maybe because I was looking at teriyaki chicken over there. I don't know.
I was going to say Poughkeepsie. So
in
Central Florida,
saying you look at, I have friends that won't partake in Disney or Target or Walmart or whatever because they donate to the Republican Party.
Right.
Literally every large business donates to
all big corporations. They cater to both parties because they're trying to buy influence. So they buy to whoever wins. They paid to both of them, so they'll get that influence.
If a former CEO of Publix dictates how I can eat my Publix chicken tender sub, we're gonna have a problem.
I will say
How
though,
I feel about life.
I will
Publix
say
subs are.
you won't.
Oh my god, they're so good.
You can
and
feel.
also their cake, Publix cake.
I will say this: you can feel.
Yes, this is true. There's plenty of racism in Central Florida.
That's my best
I'll say
friend
this:
right there.
you can be very guilt-free eating Chobani yogurt because the CEO and founder
yeah.
of Chobani yogurt is a wonderful man. He's like one of the few billionaires that I found that is truly seems like a really good person, and so feel good eating that Chobani yogurt.
You know where else?
I do.
I do that every day.
Feel guilt-free about spending your money?
The PJ Campbell Network.
We have a Patreon here. Check it out. Maybe there's a tier that's right for you.
Well, I think we've talked about it before. Like I've had to have the reckoning that 2 years ago, even though I don't drink it anymore, my favorite soda was sold to a group that has a very deep Nazi party affiliation. And that's Pete's Coffee, Einstein's Bagels, which everyone assumes is Jewish and is not. K-Cups, which as a proud Jewish family we use because we've been using it before that other company owned it.
They literally might as well be called KKK cups based on who owns that company now.
Well, they're trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
They're trying to change that, so Max shouldn't say that. They're trying to atone for their family's wrongdoings, but it is that whole thing where as a consumer, sometimes you don't even know those things happen unless you look for them.
Mm-hmm.
That things get sold and bought all the time, and you could be giving your money to something that you have no clue has any connection to terrible things.
Fascinating how the Unwind sometimes goes down these pivots.
It is.
Have we considered having a bucket of topics for when we need to shift back to something zany and fun?
So Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor are two of the great couples in science fiction.
I think you need to add Benny Hill music.
Cam's kitty type.
Did anyone say Kevin and Winnie from the Wonder Years?
I saw a couple people mention Eric and Tammy Taylor from Friday Night Lights.
Let's not forget who destroyed all of us as 90 children. The little boy who dies from the bee stings.
Oh my god!
Oh god!
I had finally forgotten, Liz. I had finally forgotten.
Wait, are we talking about sad romances now?
I mean, some of my favorites are ones that don't work out. Honestly, the more that we're talking about romance, I'm Brief Encounter, Cinema Paradiso, Fleabag, Broadcast News. These are some of my favorites.
Cheers!
Cheers! So close. I like Dexter and Rita from Dexter.
Listen,
Highlander, yes. Sean,
I'm gonna make it wholesome. Rapunzel and Flynn Rider.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
That's Jill's favorite.
I know.
His name is Eugene Fitzherbert.
From the aisle to I Can See the Light.
She did.
A piano version.
I was also so happy to finally meet them at a character dining at that Italian restaurant on the boardwalk whose name I can't remember right now.
Trattoria?
Yeah.
They have character breakfast. It's really nice because they don't sign anything. They just give you a card that has the characters that'll be there that day that have pre-signed it, so that when they stop by, they have real interactions because they don't do the pose for photos.
On Fantasy Film Fights this past week, we drafted favorite movie couples. Harry and Sally were my first pick because I knew I could wait on Jesse and Celine. Tiana and Naveen.
I love Tiana and Naveen.
The Froggy Bridger.
I like that movie.
You are secreting mucus.
I mean, not that I've ever seen that movie. It's not Star Wars, but
Hercules and Meg is so good. Hercules is such a great movie.
And I'm a Little Mermaid stan for the rest of my life, so Ariel and Eric.
It's a messed up relationship, but I still love it.
Really messed up.
Really
problems there. What's our favorite problematic relationship?
Oh boy.
Kylo and Rey.
I was going to say Kylo and Rey.
Michael Myers and Laurie Strode.
Oh God! Dude, Halloween 6 does not exist in this house. That's not true. I like that movie.
Someone said Jack and Sally.
Well, no, in Halloween 6,
Sydney Prescott and Billy Loomis.
Jamie Strode in Halloween 6.
Billy Loomis.
Now I want to watch Scream, and I just got the 3-movie pack. So
I was at Target today. Sorry, I spent money at Target. I was at Target today, and I saw the Ghostface NECA figurine, which was really nice. It was
why didn't you buy it for me?
Because I guess I could have bought it for you. Yeah,
Marcus, don't worry.
I gotta
Marcus,
say
that comment. I won't out you on your.
And I feel bad because I know how
if
much.
we're talking problematic relationships, Jean Reno and Natalie Portman and Leon the Professional.
I'm not gonna say this is not problematic, and I feel bad that I'm gonna bring this up because I know how much.
He's super problematic, but I love him.
Maxwell just doesn't care about this franchise and the character, but Vanessa and Deadpool, if we're talking like superhero relationships, was actually like real good.
That's a real good one. Yeah.
But Patrick, we've gone on to problematic relationships.
I'm just saying.
I
I'm
mean,
trying to keep it happy around here.
James Bond and
what's up, Jeff?
Women.
James Bond and anyone.
But I will say, Tracy DiVincenzo was a good one. That was the one woman he married in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then you have Vesper Lynn, but that one's also kind of problematic.
They were still great together.
Bella and Edward.
Oh yeah, real issues there for me.
Real issues there.
I'm not gonna lie.
She's like 17 and he's
Oh,
like
if you want to go
500.
further, you get Jacob and the baby. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't remind me of Renesmee. I try to forget Renesmee is a thing. For me, that series ends with Eclipse.
I've had people, and I won't name names, but they're like, "Oh, Twilight's so good." I'm like, "Look, there's a werewolf that tries to fuck a baby."
Okay,
you're really talking to Jill right now, aren't you?
I love Twilight.
No, I'm not.
I love Twilight, but it's fucking disgusting and horrible.
Yeah. No,
I'm not gonna lie.
I actually have to watch Eclipse tomorrow because I'm doing a podcast about it tomorrow night. Thank you for reminding me.
I'm going to talk about a problematic couple where the book was significantly better than the way it was presented.
Oh,
in
here
the
we go.
movies, and they're both still terrible. 50 Shades of Grey.
I knew it. Oh my god.
Did we say Jamie and Cersei?
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good one.
Snap.
Robert Parker says a werewolf that tried to fuck a baby.
And I guess Jon Snow and Daenerys as well.
It's pretty much any relationship in Game of Thrones is problematic.
Game of Thrones relationship was problematic.
I have a question. Has Robert Parker been lurking in this show for weeks?
I don't know.
Go
up.
If we're
I do like Grimm.
Problematic relationships. I say this with love, but John Roca and the singles belt.
Yeah, John Roca and the singles belt.
John Roca in Time.
A man that old should not be winning that belt.
Time Franco in this channel.
Ugh.
Oh, I'm gonna say a new one that's not problematic, but that to me is beautiful, and that's Jamie and Danny from Bly Manor.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Pat, you haven't watched it yet. Don't say yeah.
I know. I'm just nodding along. I haven't watched it yet. No, I still haven't seen.
I will call you out until you watch it.
Welcome to the TFN, the Tim Franco Network.
Oh wow. Upgrade.
He does Roca and Damon's ass.
Ooh.
Roca and Damon's ass.
John Roca and conspicuously reading promos on his monitor with his hat covering his face.
I'm not reading from the teleprompter. I just have my hat down. I'm just looking down.
I don't have anything on my hand.
And look, I love
John
Roca.
Roca and SEN donations.
Roca was always very kind to me. He was one of the first people in the Schmodown who really welcomed me into it before I was even working for him. So
Roca is a great target for jokes because he can take them.
Yeah. This is all love. We're just giving him a hard time.
Beautiful.
And I'll tell you what, if he
ramble on about movies and the Pajukin.
Yeah, ramble on. I'm glad to have ramble on.
Wait, are we talking about Mike Wazowski? I'm always watching you.
Wazowski.
Yeah, me and Mike Wazowski. Parker is the Wazowski to my Sully. Me and Robert Parker. Great movie relationship.
Any movie like Big or 13 Going on.
I was gonna say,
and as
Big
much as I love
very
it, like the movie Overboard is, the relationship is very problematic as well.
Roca in the fourth round. myself and Mario Party after last night. Look, if you are not aware at this point that signing up to do Mario Party with Chris Clark means your pending doom, then you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do to help you at this point. If you are not aware that Chris Clark is literally looking to destroy you and your psyche.
Has anyone noticed that I've never done Mario Party on the channel for a good reason?
Hate Mario.
Has anyone noticed that Chris controls these files and he makes all of our lives a living hell? So is he like loading it in his favor?
Has he won every match? Has he won all of them?
Oh, I don't think he's won a single one.
No, he's never won a game.
Jeff said Chris Clark was on his team too.
Yeah, dude, I was on Chris's team before too. He is.
That means you're definitely gonna lose.
Yeah.
Another toxic relationship. Chris Clark in the English language.
No, Chris Clark and Francesca Paparazzi.
I know I can talk about a really toxic relationship that existed until September and it doesn't exist anymore. That was myself and carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm. Or me and whiskey.
I was saying for self-deprecating me and chocolate milk, which still
me
exists.
and Dipper.
I had lots of carbohydrates today.
Yeah, you heard me.
Yeah, Lorraine and Calvin is all kinds of fucked up. Like, I love Back to the Future, and there have been times where I've like sat back and how do you pitch this movie? So, it's about a boy that travels back in time and has to convince his mom not to fuck him.
Yeah, but he's also like willing to like kind of almost like assault her in order to like get them to fall in love because that was his plan. I mean, his plan was to assault her and George intervenes. It's like
true. Yes, I'm also.
He's like, why? He's like, why is she going to care about me? He's like, well, George, you know, girls.
Oh my God. Jeff said I've never actually spoke. Oh, look, we got an improvement on the stream with Jill taking over for that beard guy. Jeff says.
It's beardy.
I've never actually spoken to Chris Clark until last night, but consider that relationship on the rocks thanks to Wario stabbing Donkey Kong in the back.
Does Jason Bourne and Amnesia count
Yes.
as a problematic couple?
Boy, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is pretty problematic.
Yeah, that is.
Although I'm excited.
Dr. Manhattan and Silk Spectre 2.
Yeah. Dependent on whether you're including only the movie or moving forward to the actual TV show. Just saying.
True.
It continues to be a problematic relationship.
Yes.
Akiva Golden in screenwriting. How did this guy win an Oscar?
I'm never going to know. And what the fuck that dude did to the Dark Tower, I will never forgive him for.
Dr. Manhattan in pants. So it's not Roca in online matches. It's Andrew Guy in online matches to the point that he broke up with them.
Whew.
He left online matches at the altar. What's up, Jill?
We can't hear you. I think Sean has you muted.
Oh, motherfucker.
Jill and Sean apparently now. Problematic.
So, since you weren't really
you're on mute.
What are some of your favorite like movie or TV couples or romances?
Obviously Flynn and Rapunzel.
Excuse me.
I know.
Eugene Fitzherbert.
Sorry, Eugene Fitzherbert and Rapunzel. Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable.
Oh,
yes.
Liz used to work at. Oh no, that was
I
Agent
went to
P.
Agent
That's right.
P. It was not Kim Possible.
You're right. It used to be Kim Possible. Go around Epcot and all you hear is.
Oh yeah, no, that was the
Agent P.
best. That like because you get the little communicator and you could do. They had meet and greets there too. They were awesome.
Everything's better with Perry.
Now it's becoming DuckTales, but again,
DuckTales is canceled.
Yeah, DuckTales already got canceled.
DuckTales isn't a thing anymore.
That feels like a cursed attraction because it was impossible.
If that's your attraction, just know that you're probably going to get canceled.
Liz worked at that attraction,
and it got canceled. And then
to be fair, Kim Possible didn't get canceled. Their contract ran out.
So, okay, let's talk about this for 1 second. In the second film, I do think they're a little problematic. Maybe not so much in the third film by the end.
What film is that?
To All the Boys.
I mean,
I'm glad that's the case because I did not. I didn't ship them in two. I switched.
I don't understand choosing anyone when Jordan Fisher is right there.
Yes.
Like, girl, what is wrong with you?
Also, I'm sorry. You hired Jordan Fisher for the last movie of your trilogy, and
No, he's in the second one.
Oh, he's
The
in the
second
second one.
But
Sorry.
he's in the third book, so he's not in the movie. And I'm like, what?
Yes.
Why?
This is my ranking as well, Jeff. I agree.
However, he's in it, and you even tease me with him playing some piano.
And you don't
but
have him
I
sing?
Never get to hear him sing.
But you can watch that Netflix dance movie he did where he dances beautifully.
That
Anyway,
movie was
Jill,
He plays Twitch.
continue,
He plays Twitch quite a bit.
continue, Jill. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yes.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales.
I mean, how did we not get Troy and Abed? Like, honestly, that's
Troy
like
and Abed in the morning.
Where's the door? Hold on.
I will also agree with this one. Goofy and Sylvia is pretty great. If for anyone who has not seen an extremely goofy movie, just throwing that out there. What's funny is I'm not. What other like couples do I like? I like Ron and Hermione in the books more than I do in the film. Same goes with Ginny and Harry. Ginny and Harry in the film is straight trash.
Rushed. Yeah.
I think the film Jenny and Harry end up why so many people are against the way they are in Cursed Child.
Yeah.
Because as people like Max and I have seen Cursed Child more times than people probably should because I adore it just for the theatrical quality.
I want to see it so bad. I really want to see it.
When you come to New York, Jill will take you.
Yes, please.
But so many people are caught on like what these 40-year-old characters would be like because they saw the film teenage version, and it's like when you read the book version of them, it kind of makes sense that they're all dealing with CPTSD.
Yeah.
And like
I love the Harry Potter movies, but the biggest thing it messes up is the romantic relationship.
Oh, 100%.
Well, I
Jenny
think
gets short-changed,
Which-
period.
Well, that's what I was going to
Makes
say.
it different.
Which makes sense. Like if you're adapting 600-page books in a 2.5-hour movie, the narrative and the magic and all that should come first.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the finale where they try to make you care about certain things, you're like, maybe not so much.
I'll say too, like, I mean, this is why I'm always going to love the movies, but I've also been a champion of them eventually turning it into a miniseries because I'd like to see fleshed out versions of that stuff actually play out. I mean, obviously now it's a little bit more problematic to even want to do it because of reasons, but like, if you could, I would like to see some of those relationships actually fleshed out. Like even the stuff with the house elves, like that stuff matters because
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a huge.
It's
part
a
of this
huge
movie.
deal because once Dobby shows up again, it's so weird in the movies.
Excuse me, Sean.
Yeah.
Do you know what section you'll be seating us in at Medieval Times tonight?
Look, I came and stood behind Jill. I saw Cam Chef's comment, so I had to quick change.
Now, Sean, what have the Romans ever done for you?
Well, they've brought me peace and security to my new empire.
we went to Medieval Times in Orlando on our last trip before COVID broke down, and those are some of my finest memories.
We were literally at Medieval Times on like February 2nd last year.
Oh.
And if I had known it was going to be like our last hurrah, I mean, I still got drunk, but I would have gotten even drunker.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes,
The
for
next
what it's
time,
worth-
can I be involved in this, please?
Yes.
I love Medieval Times.
We have one like
we have one down the street from
Next
us.
week's Unwind is going to be all about theme parks, so Amber will be back. So you're getting 2 weeks in a row of Amber. But yet,
Are we all going to Medieval Times together now?
Yes.
Because this
Fuck
has
yeah.
to happen. Please, for the love of God.
we did get to also ride Riders of Resistance last February.
We still haven't done
we
that.
could just have Medieval Times here when COVID's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Max and I are getting vaccinated soon, so like it doesn't even have to be.
You should be getting vaccinated.
Come
soon.
to me. Come to me now.
I'm waiting
we
to
will
get my-
most likely coming in June is the plan.
I'm supposed to be going in
next week.
I'm supposed to be going in May to Orlando.
Yeah.
Supposed to be. We'll see.
Everybody is welcome here.
Is your well? This might be
Move on in.
private, but your husband still works there, right?
He does. He does. He's furloughed, but he does.
Oh, is he?
Oh well, he's things have not been deactivated, and he has one of the 365.
Oh,
Wait,
nice.
your husband is Frollo? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, that.
What?
Okay.
Where did he work?
So he was on the resort delivery team. So the super
Oh,
secret
cool.
people that help build and concept resorts. So he gets to walk around touching dressers and make sure mirrors are on walls.
Mhm.
He did. I talk about this every so often. He's gonna be like, "You're doing it again. You're telling people what I do," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care." He did Old Port Royale at Caribbean Beach. He did the Tower at Coronado Springs, and he did all of Riviera. So that's his baby. And we got to stay at Coronado and Riviera. So that was pretty dope.
Oh,
We've stayed at, I think we stayed at every hotel now except for Riviera because it's new, and
You don't like the DVCs, so you haven't done Saratoga Springs, Old Key West,
yeah.
yada yada yada. Max likes.
When I'm on
likes his towels
vacation,
to be
I like
changed.
someone to change my towels and just make the bed.
I mean, you're on
I'm
vacation.
kinda like that
I get you.
I'm like
we
that
don't
too.
we don't stay places where you only get trash service every 3
But
days.
look, we're gonna talk about theme parks for like 4 hours next Sunday. So join us there.
Yes.
And I'm sure Teresa and James will be here as well
I
because
can't wait to share some of my cast member stories.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Because
I
I
have
work
plenty of
I
those.
work at Cut New Year's. I have so many stories.
My first job in theme parks was at the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and I wear it like it is.
Okay, well,
My
Jill
baby.
and I, Jill and I are gonna bow out.
yeah.
because-
Well, we're ending the show now, anyways.
Oh, perfect.
This is it.
Then I'll let you sign us off because I have to go to the.
So, thank you to everyone in the chat. You were super engaged tonight. I hope you had fun on this Valentine's Day. If you are with someone, I hope you had a romantic day. If you're not with someone, that's okay because I love you.
You're so sweet.
Jen, do you have anything to promote? Where can people find you online?
I got nothing. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at JK Meme Queen, but I have not actually updated Letterboxd for like a full year. But go ahead and follow me anyway.
Chicken?
So unless you're Ferris Mathana, who cannot say Takara Kanashi and says
Takara Kanashi.
teriyaki chicken, you can find me. I put it in the chat, so you can find me at Takara Kanashi on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitch, you name it. Stereo too, because I'm doing stereo with the boys all the time.
Oh, we should stereo sometime.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love it.
PJ and I did one. We should just stereo about Disney parks. Just do it.
Oh my God, yes. We would have way too much to talk about and many questions. But I'm on the Let's Get Ready network. I'm one of the new co-hosts. I do LGR Reviews WandaVision. I'm going to be starting up Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up in March. Yay. We're starting the Gold Standard talking about the First Class League. We have a LGR lady show. I'm announcing the new name, the Night Sisters. It's going to be Mia, Delia, and Bador.
Ooh, nice.
I think it's going to be on stereo first. We're going to try to figure that out and figure out doing, put 3 people on there. We have a lot of stuff coming up. So I'm going to be very exhausted. It's fine. I work a full-time job and do all this. Yay.
I feel that.
Awesome.
I know you
Thank
do.
you so much for joining us. I'm so glad you made your Pajukan debut. And as I already said, this will not be your last time here.
I'm so excited. Please game night. Yay.
Tim?
You can find me on Twitter at tfranco84. That means something. It means something. You can find me through USPS at my address here in Tucson, Arizona, just north of Wetmore Road. You can find me drinking beers, and it's my birthday on Saturday.
Happy birthday.
And on Wednesday, you can find me here on the PJ Campbell Network.
And I totally meant it. And in my head, I was like, yeah, we're going to do that. And then I totally didn't mention it. But yes, we're going to be talking about pop punk.
So I just want to mention real quick. So Chris Clark makes not all the graphics. I've started doing some of them too. But Chris Clark makes all the Suddenly Soundtracks graphics. So he made this graphic here for pop punk. And I just find it so cute that he put Nirvana on.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice
Nirvana.
that. I'm never going to unsee it.
Chris,
I love you, but damn.
Cute.
No, it's perfect. I would make a t-shirt that says Nirvana is pop punk, Chris Clark. All right.
And I haven't seen Birds, and I don't remember seeing Birds in person.
Team Silly.
Oh, me? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's. You can also catch me over on Certain Point of View, the Schmodown Network on the YouTube. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. Woo, woo, woo.
Literally my very favorite show on all of YouTube. Happy Hour with Jill and
Happy
Molly.
Hour.
Although Jill and I are
Molly.
coming with our own show soon. Watch out.
I know, apparently.
We're here, we're queer, we're drunk.
We're drinking.
We're drinking. And we're not drunk. We're in the act of drinking.
Happy Hour is much different.
You can find me at Suit Up Sully on Twitter, twitch.tv/Sean Sully, although we're taking a 2-week hiatus for study reasons. will return Saturday evening, maybe. We'll see. And the Schmodown. I got a match March 4th. Yes. I would also like to plug on behalf of my friend Brandon, because he helped plug BoxBox when we launched BoxBox. Brandon just launched his Christmas special, Brandon Hannah on YouTube. It's very funny.
Does Ralph make an appearance?
Ralph makes an appearance. And that's it. I'll be here Wednesday. See you Wednesday.
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Cinemaxwell, Instagram Cinemaxwell Inc. Tuesday night, myself and Amber are going to be on Schmo Me the Money, where we're going to be talking about all of the announced Schmodown matches thus far. That includes you, Sean.
I think I could say I will be on next Tuesday.
Oh, awesome!
Talking about the Star Wars number one contender match.
There you go.
Ooh.
Like I mentioned earlier, you guys probably know Manish. He has been on a few episodes here. He has a podcast. They're doing a Twilight retrospective. I'm going to be recording an episode about Eclipse, my favorite of the Twilight movies, tomorrow. And when that's going to be releasing, I'll let you know. And you can always find me here on the PJ Campbell Network. PJ?
Maxwell, you're free to use my quote about Jacob and the baby.
So with that, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. You can find me here hanging out with all these lovely people, talking all things nonsense all the time. And you can find me at the Movie Trivia Schmodown, where I write the questions. Be nice to the writers. We're only human. Okay, bye, guys.
Wear your masks, please.
Wear your fucking mask. Bye.
Galfrey's butt.
I ship it.
Please leave this office.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Get out of my office!
I'll be back.
I gotta pay.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. He's the info.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Heavy is the head that eats the crayons. I'm gonna take a nap. See you in 10 hours.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, his head is the sky. Godzilla! Godzilla!